So I should be live. I'll check it in a little bit. Do 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 do. I'll hit. Let me see. I gotta go to your channel live. And then I gotta turn down the volume. Morning, Zephin. Happy Monday. Oh, thanks. It's been a while. It feels like forever. Okay, why is Active Trader Pro not starting up? Oh. Quit Active Trader Pro. Okay. Force quit. I gotta get Active Trader Pro set up. Then I'm gonna do some scans. Wow. Did I really? Oh, I guess I did a super short podcast on Tuesday before I left. Morning, Jesse. Yeah, you guys are lucky to have me back alive. I couldn't believe. So you guys will like this one. I posted that I was on the flight, and it was just a picture of, I think it was in my Twitter, just a picture of, I think the wing. And then ABC News contacted me and said they wanted an interview. And then NBC News contacted me and said they wanted an interview. Atlanta Journal-Constitution paper contacted me, said they wanted an interview. And there were like 4 or 5 others, like little ones. And then Daily Mail, she said she wanted an interview. So I said, okay, can I just do a YouTube video? She's like, yeah. So I threw it up there, and that was my interview. So, and on this YouTube channel, it's the highest number of views. God, I'm exhausted. I need to open up notes. Oh. By the way, can I tell you guys, Notes is the most underrated program on Apple. And ironically, I started a new note. Oh, come on, man. Okay, we're going to delete this. I'm going to test this. Yeah, that sounds pretty good. Okay, that sounds okay. Man, Final Active Trader Pro is just dragging for some reason. It's almost like I'm on my laptop. Don't tell me this new operating system that Apple put in place kills this WinBug thing. You know, here's the thing. I'm getting more kind of confident that Apple will come back in 5 years. But I think I'll go over PE. Somebody wrote to me. I don't know who it was. I think it was on Instagram. That I should go over PE and how Apple. Let's see what Apple's PE is as far as. Because remember, the PE of the S&P wants to be at 17. That's where That's where the market wants to drag Apple down to. And performance year to date, Apple is down 22%. So it's not keeping up with the S&P. It was beating the S&P as of last week, I think. But energy's still your play. I don't think it's... Listen, I was bitching at my pet sitter. I'm like, I lost so much money. By the way, thumbs up, like, and subscribe. Let's go over some scanners. I don't blame it. You know, if I didn't have thousands upon thousands, tens of thousands of shares of Apple, I'd buy more. 140 is my pivot on this one, on Apple. And in pre-market, it's trading at 136. Why wouldn't you load up? Kind of like I said, you know, hey, you can get it lower between now and you know, as long as China stays on their COVID zero. Okay, hold on. What am I hearing? What the hell am I hearing? My dog's staring at me. I miss my dogs when I go out of town. Dow Chemicals is the only one. Dow Inc. Only one with a cross up in the Dow 30. Let's see about brokerage holdings. Ironically, all the ARCs are up. Apple's down. I'm probably going to wind up down on the day just because Apple's down. Teradyne's the only one, but I don't like Teradyne. Man, Teradyne. This has just been a dog for me. Let's look at the not owned list. Guys, I didn't look at I like this PBW, but it's probably not great. mRNA, Teradyne. Why do I have that not owned when I do own it? Fastly. Else, this is a chip. Lamb. MU I really like. Okay, we're going to put that in the list. Scans. Here I have to do this. Boo, 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 boo. That is the title. We're going to put in MU. I really like MU, NVIDIA. All these chips are crossing up. So I'm going to put chips crossing up, SOXL. NVIDIA, Royal Caribbean. I don't know who brought it. I'll look at VOC. VOC for Jesse. Hey, somebody brought up Plug Power before. I've had it on my list. Oh, but look at, see, here's the problem. Look at that. And I think I think I'm on TrendSpider, but look at the Bollinger Band start to come up, but it's a dog. God, it's a dog. Oh, Realty. Let me see what these look like. This is my first look at charts since I got back yesterday. Took the red eye. I was on the freaking red eye and just laid on the couch all day. Look at that gap. This is DRN. This is the 3 times bull real estate. I'll have to look at those too. Oh, by the way, Zevin, I killed you on snowflakes, man. My apologies on this one. It'll come back. But look at how weak that is on the bottom side. It's outside the Bollinger Band. It just got killed. I think, here's the thing. Look at the gap up on the last earnings. If you don't think that's going to happen on November 30th, I'd tell you guys, rather than loading up on Apple, because you don't have a catalyst in Apple. The catalyst in Apple is all negative. China's shutting down. Look at the catalyst in Snowflake. I'm going to go over Snowflake. Snow weak, but I like it long term. Okay, let's go and let's look at all the ARCs holdings. Not that many, to be honest. VLD, is this a chip? It's a 3D one. It's been strong. It's going to come back down to that 200 day. Okay. Let's go to the videotape. NASDAQ 100. I'll look at VOC, Jesse, I promise. Do, 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 do. By the way, if you're on my Twitter, you know which one I'm going to talk about at the top that I really like. This article was really good from Motley Fool. And Motley Fool's wacky because Motley Fool, they have like guest writers. They'll post anything if you send, like if I were to send them an article, they'd post it under the Motley Fool and say who I am. And then give me like a $10 spiff or something, I think. I don't exactly know how it works, but I know I could get something published on there. See here, look at this. The NASDAQ 100, it's chips and Moderna. Microchip, Lam Research, NVIDIA, NXP Semiconductors, and then Skyworks. Skyworks does the chips for iPhones. And how that's up, I have no idea how that's up when Apple's getting killed. But, okay, we're going to stop that because the NASDAQ 100 is done. Let's look at the S&P 50. S&P 100. Then I'm going to do energy because energy's still in play. Energy's getting killed. I don't think it's getting killed, but it's probably going to be down a little bit today because China. Google's fine. Barry Diller was. I was just watching Barry Diller on CNBC. He's kind of like Buffett, where he's got a bunch of businesses and he runs them and blah blah blah. I had dinner with him one time, but he was saying travel business is unbelievable right now. He goes, you can't get into one of their main properties. All of the conventions are coming back, and they asked him specifically about it, the advertising business. He's like, it's down 5%. He goes, we're not getting killed. He goes, it's definitely down, but we're not getting killed, which is good news. Union Pacific. This one's interesting. It's post-earnings. I do think it likes that 200-day. Let's look at a daily. This one should be above the 200-day. I got to check. Hold on. I got to check. Tom always sends me a shit ton of morning stuff. Boyle. He's calling Boyle. Comstock Resources. CRK. We'll put on CRK for Tom. Oh, and by the way, my co-host Rick Barron on the other podcast that I'm doing. I still got to start those other two podcasts, but he was on John Oliver last night. They went over his death threats, and what did he tell me? Hold on, I'm going to look at my texts. He did some analysis for CNN on Saturday, because if you don't know, here in Georgia, we're in a huge race in Georgia between a guy with CTE and violent tendencies, Herschel Walker, and a pastor who had an altercation with his wife. Nothing too serious. She's been campaigning for him. Meanwhile, Herschel's family will not campaign for him. I think from a character standpoint, it's two totally different people. From a, Warnock's been doing the job. He's shown that he can be a senator. Just maybe he doesn't vote the way you want him to. But from a who can do the job perspective, I think it's clear. But the county that I'm in, Cobb County, they forgot to mail 1,000 mail-out vote ballots. So they're getting sued. This election is so fucked up. I hate that I have to actually be knowing in the news just to do that podcast with Rick. But, listen, it's good to be knowledgeable as a citizen and do your research, but it gives me anxiety. I'm going to say UNP is a good one. I'll go over that one. Dow, I'm not Dow Inc. I think that's chemicals. I just don't like it. EMR. This one's got gaps all over the place. And look at how strong it is. I mean, it's just been, we've missed out on this run. Have we missed out on the run on GE? Yeah, I think so. So you're way down here at 64. We missed out on that run. It's just crossing up double. That RSI is too high. I'm not putting that one in. UNP, we haven't missed out on a run. Those Bollinger Bands are super thin. So, okay, let's look at the energy sector. I think the energy sector is going to come up with a ton. I should start looking at healthcare. I think healthcare in the new year, healthcare and finance in the New Year's. Although last year I ended the year with, healthcare is going to be the number one industry this year, and it's been a dog too. Hallador Energy. We missed out on that one. Yeah. See how it's above the 9-day and it's just running. I won't bring this up. Let's see. SM Energy. Those Bollinger Bands are getting tight, but that RSI is too high. SWN. This one's interesting. Still not like, oh my God, it's a killer. That one's, and this Travel Center America. FU. AR Resources. Alta Mesa. Too strong. By the way, I'm big on Boyle again. Boyle's our dog in this hunt. Boy, that gap looks juicy, but it's an earnings gap. That is from 929. That's a big percentage gap. But look at the RSI. Cord Energy. I won't bring anything up on energy. We'll just go over our standards. Let me throw my energy in. Other stuff. Pasadena podcast. There we go. That's Rick's. This is at Cleveland Cliffs. I should go over Cleveland Cliffs. You know what? I'm going to go over Cleveland Cliffs. CLF. Let me look at CLF before I go over it. Because it got killed. MACD's about to cross up again. We're going to do CLF. Then I'm going to scroll down to the bottom here. And I'm going to pull my... where are my energy names? And I want to go over Meta too. There's all my... We're going to put these in here. Boom, boom. And then I'm going to look for my energy names. Because I have my energy names in a list. There we go. These are the energy standards. Okay. Where did I start? 20 minutes ago? Yeah, I'll tell people. I started 20 minutes ago. Okay, let's see. Let me just test Active Trader Pro. I'm going to put this up there. Then we got our notes. I got my water. Active Trader Pro. Oh, wait. TrendSpider. Okay, see TQQQ. TQQQ, by the way, on this 1 minute chart, I mean, look at it. I think it's going to pop on open. I think 18 today is your pivot point. But what time is it? 9 o'clock. Okay, 4 people watching. we usually get like 10, 11 people watching. So my break probably killed. And nobody listened to the the Flight Terror podcast. I think people knew. It's Short Delta Airlines. You know what? Let's look at their DAL. I gotta go back to my algorithm. Look. So I crashed here. It's been down ever since. Okay, let's go to strategy tester, main algo, run. Yeah. Shortly after I crashed, you got out of Delta with a 7% gain. Okay, there's my podcast. Let's scroll this back. I feel like singing the Welcome Back Kotter song. And for all you younger folks, welcome back. I forget how it goes. But that's what I feel like today, because I've been off for a week. I've survived a air emergency. As I was instructed on YouTube, it was not at 50,000 feet, probably 35,000 feet. That story is for another day. The story that I will tell you on Saturday, if you guys didn't watch it, it was one of the best MLS games I have ever personally seen. Live, on tape, on TV, whatever. It was pretty freaking amazing. And that the goalie who got injured in overtime, it was in the stadium. You didn't know it. You thought he was faking it. Like every soccer player does, fake injury. Seeing it afterwards, oh my freaking God, it was gory as fuck. That leg break was disgusting, absolutely disgusting. Here's the story from the MLS that I will tell you. So MLS, if you guys don't know, I print badges. So on field for media, VIP kind of badges and stuff like that for MLS at special events. And I was working the finals last week. And I work until halftime of the event. So first half, I kind of work. MLS got me, I think it was row 10 behind one of the goals. And so me and my partner, Nikki, went down to the field afterwards, after we were done, to go watch the game. And a goal was scored, and the beer shower started. We were about 4 seats away from the actual beer shower. So I told Nikki, I said, hey, we've got the passes. Let's just go up to the press box and we'll watch it from the press box. So we went up to the press box. And usually what I'll do in some of the other places, I'll go and find a luxury suite and just kind of sit there. We can get in there. It's really no problem. We've got the access and the approval to do it. So I'm looking into luxury suites to see which ones not taken, which ones, it's kind of like Wedding Crashers. We don't know anybody, but we can absolutely meet people. So we're kind of walking around. This woman, she asked me, she goes, can I help you? And she was obviously in that luxury suite because she had kind of was entering in. And I said, yeah, I'm just looking for a luxury suite. We print these badges. And she goes, oh my God, you print the badges? I said, yeah. She goes, did you do the owner of the Philadelphia Union? I said, yeah. I said, we do everybody. And what was funny was it was literally a half hour, maybe an hour before the game. MLS had called me and said nobody submitted for the owner of the Philadelphia Union. And so we had to print out his badge. So she was like, and I told this lady when we were up there, I said, who forgets to ask for access for the owner of one of the teams in the finals? And she looked at me with this little face. She goes, that was me. And I said, well, we got it taken care of. Everything's fine. And she goes, this is the Philadelphia Union owner's box. And he is so thankful. He wants to meet you. So come on in. So he it's the second half. She invites me and Nikki in. We meet everybody in the booth and we're partying with the Philadelphia Union folks. Well, in the overtime, Philadelphia Union with 2 minutes left goes up 1-0. Or I'm sorry, I think it was 2-1. And so MLS folks come in, and we don't know a lot of the on field, like the event folks. We know operations folks. So the lady comes in and she says, "Hey, for trophy celebration, stand here." So I looked at Nikki. I said, "We are the ultimate wedding crashers that are going to get on TV and be able to celebrate the Philadelphia Union winning the trophy, and our families are going to see us on TV, blah, blah, blah." And FYI, full disclosure, no freaking way I'm going on the field. No freaking way I'm any part of this event other than just hanging out. I wouldn't have done it. I love my job way too much. And it would have been the ultimate of just, breaches. But I laughed thinking about it, But then what happened was like 2 minutes later. I mean, if you can talk about being in an owner's suite and the team actually going up with like a minute to go, and the high that everybody in that box felt to LA scoring and it going to a shootout. I mean, that score just it was like a gut punch. And it was interesting because I think the two owners' boxes were right next door to each other, because we did see quite a few celebrities in the other box. But yeah, it was kind of interesting. And what happened was Philadelphia just didn't perform in the shootout very, very well. So their goalie did a great job, I think. Some of the shooters, could have done a better job. But again, LA played a great match. Philly, I thought, played incredibly well. It is tough to be, I can tell you from a standpoint of knowing soccer players, going to a competitor, the opponent's home field. Home field makes all the difference in the world. So, but we are not here to talk about MLS. We are here to talk about stocks. What the hell is going on? Here's what's happening. And I got a question last week about, hey, how do you know that stocks are going to come down? And what do you do during a recession? Blah, blah, blah. Well, if I knew exactly what was going to go on, I'd be way, way more wealthy than I am today. But you can kind of tell some stuff. PE, price to earnings. And what I'm going to do is go to Investopedia.com. And we're going to go there and we're going to look up PE. And we're going to do price to earnings. Let's do price to earnings. And it'll pull up PE ratio. There we go. Read this. This is earnings per share, price to earnings. This tells you everything that you need to know about the PE ratio that I talk to all the time. And what you have to know is the S&P trades at a PE ratio average of about 17. So 17 is your pivot point. Stocks that are above 17, it doesn't mean that they're overvalued and that the price is too high, but it does mean that you need significant growth in earnings, because when the earnings go up, the PE actually goes down. When the earnings go down, the PE goes up. And so that 17 being a pivot point, if you can continue to show growth, then your stock should be okay. If you're not going to show growth, then your stock price needs to come down. That's the simple fact, easy to tell, easy to kind of track. It's super, super simple. So when I got asked, well, why does that matter? What does that do? Well, when we're heading into a recession and nobody will show growth because the economy will be pulling back, that PE ratio at 17 may get pulled back to 15 or 16 for the S&P. And if it gets pulled back to 15 or 16 for the S&P, anything that's over 17 is going to really, really pull back. I'm sorry, guys. I gotta blow my nose. I'll be right back. Hey, girls. I love you too. Love you. Okay. Hey, WW, thank you for saying I'm glad I survived. I'm glad I survived as well. Now back to PE. God, I got this frog in my throat. I think it's because I had oatmeal this morning. But okay. So when I talk about PE, what we can do is we can look at Apple, and since Apple is my main holding, take a look here. So the PE is 22. Does Apple deserve a 22 multiple when Wall Street is pretty much looking at iPhone and growing the iPhone? And that's where Wall Street and the big money, not my money, not your money, but the big money, they want iPhone growth. So at 22, the iPhones better be growing. Well, today there's a news story that Apple said COVID shutdowns are affecting the iPhone production before the holidays, and there may be delays. That's why you're seeing Apple pre-market trade down significantly. And let's look at active. Well, I don't have to go to Active Trader Pro. I actually go to TrendSpider. It will show me Apple pre-market at 136.69. Now, I started this podcast on YouTube about 20 minutes early, so right now we're at 9 minutes. You'd look at 29 minutes on YouTube to see this. But the chart, you can see the chart. Apple's super weak. So on YouTube, everybody was saying, well, time to load up on Apple. Here's why I don't know that you necessarily load up on Apple. There's this pretty big gap here between that MACD line and the strike line. Your RSI is down at a place where, yeah, you probably should load up on Apple. Anything in the 30s on Apple, load up on it. You could get a great thing. The Bollinger Bands are kind of expanding, and you're well below your moving averages. And you just had, see how that 9-day touched the 200-day and it came down? Well, the 50-day is starting to move positive, but that most likely will start to move negative. Outside these bottom Bollinger Bands, I'd rather see you hold and wait off on buying and buy closer to 140 than buy at 130 and wind up having it down here at 127. It's not unheard of that it goes to 127 because back here in June, we went down to just about 129, 128. So I don't know that's why that MACD kind of scares me a little bit, is I do think that you have some downside possibility. If Apple comes out and says, yeah, we're going to have, China is really shutting us down, or the economy, Jay Powell says something, devastating again, we've got downside. So it's a little bit, I'd probably wait. And remember, we're not trying to get Apple for a trade. We're trying to get Apple for long term. Apple is one of those that I've identified for myself. And if you feel that way, this is completely up to you, because the algorithm, mind you, the algorithm, when it gets you in and out, makes you 31% over 1,000 candles. And what that means is we go back 500 trading days. My algorithm's built on 4-hour candles. So you have one for the morning and one for the afternoon. And so the algorithm back tests for 1,000 candles. It's historic, so it doesn't guarantee future performance, but the best determination of future performance is past performance. So for 500 trading days, if you were to get in and get out based on the algorithm, and again, you can't time the market, so it's not perfect, but it would make you 31%. If you just bought and held Apple for 500 trading days, you'd be up 12%. So it's not the best buy and hold per se over the past 500 trading days, which is about, just over a year and a half, maybe 2 years. But, 12% in a market like this, I'd probably take it. You could just buy and hold it. I don't know that you necessarily want to get in and out. Personally, I've never sold a share of Apple. So that's why I say, hey, you may want to hold off on buying, as there potentially we could be testing these June ones. If you want to look at a longer term and you go back to a weekly, see, we really haven't moved that much. It really hasn't moved that much. This is a weekly that goes all the way back to 2016, in fact, back here, where it was trading at an equivalent of $26. Now, there's been share splits in here, so it wasn't ever really trading at $26. But the reality of it is, if we do see a downturn like we saw in 2008-19, late 2018, where Janet Yellen, who was Fed chairman at that point, she was Jay Powell back then, she started to tighten and raise interest rates, and it went too quickly, and they quickly realized, oh, we can't do that. The economy's too fragile. It went down to its 200-day, and it used the 200-day as support. Now, even the worst of COVID, Apple didn't touch its 200-day, didn't move to the 200-day whatsoever. If we were to go back to 2018 and the Fed were to, quote unquote, over tighten, this one might go back to its 200-day, and that's 110. So there's the potential of a downside. You don't use money in the stock market that you use to buy food, that you use to pay rent, that you use to survive. You do not use money that way. And so when I'm telling you to buy into Apple, I'm telling you to take money that is long-term in an IRA, that is long-term in hey, this is my emergency fund. I don't expect to use it in the next 2 to 3 years. Put money in that like that. And I think Apple's good. And you can look at this chart. Even if we were to go to a monthly, which is a significantly longer time frame, you can see we really don't even touch the 200-day ever since the iPhone launched, which was back here in 2004. You trade significantly above that 200-day, and you can't even notice the move. So that's where everybody who's saying, hey, let's load up on Apple, I don't know, patience. You can buy some. If you want 1,000, say you're buying $1,000 worth, buy 200 of it today. I do think that 140 is your pivot point on this one. I don't think you're going to get hurt at 136. I don't think you're going down to 70. I don't think you're going down to 0. I don't think that you're going to get cut in half. They have too much money on the books. These guys could literally up the dividend. They could buy back shares. It could be crazy, the amount of financial engineering that they could do. So I do like it. I like it for that. But that's one thing. Let's talk about Boyle. Boyle's my favorite day trade currently. As you guys know, I've been dying on this one. That MACD cross up at 39.56 is still there. You're trading at $43 right now. I think in pre-market, let's go to Active Trader Pro and let's look at Boyle. My other big one that I like here is TQQQ. But Boyle in pre-market, it's at 49. Remember how I told you guys that buy it under 40? My ass didn't buy it under 40. Douche me. I missed out on this one. It's flying, and it's flying in pre-market. Went from 44 up to 51. It's kind of lost its little peak. But obviously last week, this algorithm, $39, you're way up here at about 50. When it opens up, if it opens up above 48, you're going to cover this first gap. I don't know that we're going to the second gap, which is, I've got to go back to Safari. So here's the first gap, which is between 46 and 48. We're going to cover that today. It's going to gap up. You're going to gap up from 44. So it's going to create a downside gap, which is probably going to be a bigger magnet than this upside gap. The upside gap here is between 86 and 94. I do think that, as we head into winter, I think that's where you're going. But I would not buy today in the $50 range thinking, Gary said it's going to go to 100. No, that's not what you do. You be patient. And you've had to deal with patience at this 30. This is a perfect example. This 39.56. We talked about this a lot. You could have day traded this and made a lot of money because you went all the way down to 34. Oh, I'm sorry, 32.93 right here on October 28th. The buy-in was October 25th. October 28th, 3 days later, you're down at 32. You've lost nearly 10% here. Now, if you had a 5% stop loss, you got out. But did you buy back in? That's why I say, hey, the algorithm's good. It's decent. This one over 1,000 candles loses you 4% versus buying and holding makes you 29%. Here's the key. The key is that you have 23 positions within those 1,000 candles that you've bought into. 40% of them are wins. Your average win is 38.5%. That's the key with this stock. This is why my day trade and my algorithm on this one I like. You have to pick out these stocks and you have to look at them that way. But I do like this one. And I think Boyle is one that I should have day traded. I didn't day trade. The other one that I like to day trade is, as you guys know, TQQQ. And I've said for weeks, TQQQ, when it's under 20, buy into it. We don't have a MACD cross up on TQQQ, and I don't see a bullish signal right now in the algorithm. The algorithm here, it was 1932. We went all the way up. You got your 10% out here at 22, and you saw this button hook. And like I said, when I see that button hook, I like to get out. I don't mind if it continues to run, but I just like to get out. I identify the trade before I get into it. So I probably would have gotten out up here. I definitely would have sold it as it got closer to 20. Today you're at 17.94. So let's go to Active Trader Pro and we'll look at TQQQ. Today I think it's trading slightly higher. It's just above $18.14. Pivot point still remains at 20, but the algorithm does not have a buy. It's oversold because the RSI is at 39. It's not the RSI, anything near 20 is considered oversold. Anything near 70 is considered overbought. Let me take a drink of water. So we're kind of in no man's land at 39, but you did get down on Friday in the morning to 31 on the RSI. So you're kind of coming back. That MACD is going to start to turn around. I do think that you could probably day trade this one, and you could day trade it fairly well. If we just look at a 2-day here, see those Bollinger Bands? You're above the 9-day. I think you've got some momentum. The problem is it's a Monday. I typically don't buy on the mornings on Mondays. I'd rather wait until we get to 19 and have a pretty good bullish signal in the algorithm on the 4-hour chart. But do what you want. TQQ is one that I like under 20. Meta announced that they are laying off a significant, we're talking about thousands of people. I think it was up to 20%. You've got gaps in this one all over the place. And you see it's a ski slope down. The Bollinger Bands, remember I talked about Bollinger Bands last week, how they cinch up? See, they're cinched up there. And then all of a sudden, earnings come out and boom, you've got that big downside. You've got here, if we pull this back, see that volume shelf that's right at about 100? I think 100 is your pivot point. You're about to get a MACD cross up. I think it's trading at about, 94.71. So you're up about 4%. My expectation is that we get up here at about 100. That's where that volume shelf is. You're building your volume shelves down here, but that's where that volume shelf is. To cover this gap, you'd go from 102 to 127. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that Meta comes back and fills that gap. If it fills that gap, it's got a lot more to fill on the way up. These Bollinger Bands are huge. They're going to want to come in, and I think my guess is you're going to be between 90 and 103 to cinch that up. But I do like Meta. I still use it. I use Instagram. Obviously, some of you guys follow me on there. But that's one. By the way, talking about Meta, this is one that Jim Cramer has gotten the club folks in, charging them $600 a year. I'm sorry. I've misled you. Douche. Hate that guy. But did you notice Jim Cramer goes to the second game of the Phillies World Series, posts a picture on his Twitter. What did the Phillies do? They lost 4 games in a row. They lost the World Series. Inverse Cramer. In effect, even in sports, his Philadelphia Eagles won't win a Super Bowl this year. They're going to go undefeated. He will go to a game. He will post a picture. He will say, these guys are the greatest things ever, blah, blah, blah. They will lose. Jaden Hurt might get, he might get hurt. So, Cramer effect, in effect. Let's see. Oh, the article that I posted on Twitter last night, I think I posted the story on Instagram as well, was about Uber. And it's a Motley Fool article. And let's go to Twitter and we'll, let me just pull up the article. If I go to my profile and then let's see, we'll scroll down. I think I reposted some stuff. Yeah. One super stock down 51%. You'll regret not buying on the dip. This Motley Fool article goes over that Uber, they are cash flow positive. That was their last earnings. They jumped on their last cash flow earnings. And it set a new record. Kind of shows you that the world's opening up. See, this is a chart. Monthly active platform customers. I use Uber when I travel. I don't know if you guys do. It's so much easier than a taxi. You had a cross up here at $30.04 right after earnings. You've settled in to $28.69. I haven't purchased this one myself. You've got these Bollinger Bands cinching up here. I've said that 30 is a pivot point, so anything under 30, I thought at that 27 level that with earnings we would go up to 30. We did. You had a 10% gain the previous buy on this one. I like Uber for a long term. When we look at a little bit back here, there are gaps all over this stock. And that's one of the problems with trading a newer, category of stock. Specifically in the pandemic is what I'm noticing, is that this is just a stock that has been a ski slope down. Now it's kind of going to use that 200-day as a resistance level. I think it's going to sit there at that 200-day for a while. And that 200-day is right at 30. That's why I picked 30. But you can see right here when it capitulates there, it makes moves. And ever since we went into this downturn for Uber, which was July of last year, it's just kind of gone down, down, down. And you went down and you put in a bottom at about 20. Then you started to come back with travel. And so I do think that this one starts to move back up. Now, the algorithm, it loses you 59% versus buying and holding loses you 42%. The average win is 8%. You win 24% of the time. There are 34 positions. This is a highly volatile stock. I think you can absolutely trade it. But in my mind, I think you do buy this one. My guess is that you could buy it closer to 25. So I'm not saying buy it right now, but I do think you buy the dip on this one. And I think here in November, I think we'll absolutely head down. I just don't think there's not a lot of catalyst to go up. So I just don't see it. Another one that I like, that I've always liked, and I do think Jim Cramer's right about this one. I just think he hits it. He just doesn't understand that chips just aren't in vogue right now. But NVIDIA had a cross up here on October 18th at 123. You're trading at 141. So it's been a good move up. You've got your earnings coming up November 16th. Chips have been killed on earnings, and you can clearly see that it's using that 200-day as a resistance level. That 200 days at 150. So if you bought here at 140, I think you'll get to 150. I think it'll touch that before earnings. And then I think on earnings, it's a crapshoot. What are they going to say? And remember I talked about PE? Here's the issue with Nvidia. That PE is at 46. Remember, the S&P is at 17. They have to show growth in order to continue. What we've seen with chips is the over-ordering of chips. So suppliers with the chip shortage previously, they wound up double ordering. And so NVIDIA's got this entire inventory problem, and they just haven't managed it well. Year to date, you're down 51%. Earnings per share this year up 123% year over year. So the growth is huge. But does it justify 4 times what the S&P will trade at? Probably not. They're going over Sam Bankman-Fried, who I'm a fan of, by the way, if you don't know FTX. I really like Sam Bankman-Fried. I think he's a super, super smart guy. I like him. But NVIDIA had a cross up, and I wanted to go over it because I couldn't believe the run up that we've had. And we've had it on all chips, by the way. And I've got some cross ups going on later, but I wanted to show you the SOXL, which is the triple levered ETF for chips. This one has been for semiconductors. It got you out on Friday. I think it was Friday, maybe Thursday, with a 20% gain at $9, and I wasn't on air, so I wasn't able to do it. I still think that we've got this $10.26 to $11.20 gap within range. And it might be NVIDIA earnings that push that up. I don't want to say bet on NVIDIA. I'd rather see you bet on this SOXL and try and gain that. But again, this is a great one. October 19th, $7.27. It's been a ski slope down. But SOXL, you get up there and you sell it at, when did they sell it at? $9.22. So it's a 19 point something percent gain. I like it. So we went over TQQ. We went over Boyle. Boyle's pivot, I still think is 40. NVIDIA at 144. Meta with their layoffs, I think you've got some gaps to fill up there. Just stocks with SOXL. VOC, Jesse on YouTube wanted me to look at VOC. VOC Energy Trust. This was one, I think he's asked me about it before. Let's see. Got you in at $9.04, Jesse. This is one, they just paid their dividend, and you can clearly see there's that gap there. Once they paid their dividend, gap down from $9.66 to $9.49. My guess with this buy-in on Friday at $9.04, you're trading at $9.12 right now. Let me see some of their fundamentals. VOC. P is at 10, so it's average. Their dividend is 14%, so you got paid out on the dividend. Year to date, it's up 92%. I like that gap up there. So here's where I would say, if I were to trade this one, Jesse, I would say at $9 and anything under $9, I think you can buy, but I would probably put my stop right up. Honestly, I'd probably put a pretty quick stop on this one at about $8.25. I think you could go down to this shelf right here at about $8.40 if you wanted a pretty sizable stop. But what worries me here is you can see right up to the dividend, the volume. And then you got this volume right after the dividend, and that's what kind of brought this in. You're not seeing the volume Friday. And so the volume's not staying there. The MACD did cross up. Your RSI's at 54. I don't think anything is kind of, oh my God, red flag. You should be out of this one. I haven't read the articles on it, but I would say from a trade standpoint, I would put a pretty big stop on that one. From the upside, I do think that if you get close to this, if you get near $9.30, you're at $9.06 now. You were just under 9. I'd say 9 is your pivot point, but put a pretty close stop on the bottom. I like, see this gap was filled. I think that's still going to probably attract it up there. So it was filled November 3rd, so Thursday. God, imagine if you had bought it down here in the $7 range. It got you out, faked out. See that 18% gain right there? It faked you out, it sold you out, and then it got you right back in. I think it covered that gap. I think it's going to go back up there. It wants to fill that gap with the dividend. So I like that one. CRK, Tom brought up, CRK is gapping up. We'll take a look at Meta, by the way, and we'll see the gap up. CRK gapped up. See that gap right there? Well, it's not going to create a gap in TrendSpider because it won't create a gap until the candle closes, because you don't know if the market crashes and this one for some reason trades down to 17 during this session, the morning session, it won't create a gap. But I think that the gaps back here between 20 and 21, I think you're going to fill those. So I think 1974, even though it looks like it gapped up, I think you're still going to fill those. Your catalyst here is the dividend payment on November 30th at the end of the thing, at the end of the month. 65 is your RSI. This is a Comstock CRK fertilizer company. Their PE is 16. These are crazy. This year in particular, this is energy. This is production of oil and natural gas. For some reason, I keep thinking Comstock is fertilizer because you do use natural gas in the creation of fertilizer. Up 127% year to date. They have a 2.71% dividend. The PE is at 16. So I like that one, Tom. It's a good one. One that I've noticed, I think it was a few people. I said, hey, just buy Snowflake. Well, Snowflake's down today. It's down 1.8%. It's weak. Its RSI is down at 25. I own this one at 183. Didn't get out with gains. Several times I had gains to be able to get out 10, 15%. I view this as a long-term buy. I'll probably add to it. Probably won't add to it today. See that MACD cross down? It's the MACD, that blue line is nowhere near that yellow line right there. Their earnings are coming up on November 30th at the end of the month. You're trading on the downside of the 9-day, downside of the 21-day, the 50-day, which is the blue line, just crossed the red line, or it's about to cross it, which is called the death cross. You've got this gap up here about 183 to 187. That's why I'm not necessarily afraid of getting out there. I do think that this gap gets filled at some point in time. And it might be on earnings. Look at how it gapped up during earnings last time, how it traded right before earnings. It traded down to about 150, went all the way up to just over 200. My Active Trader Pro just crashed. So I still like Snowflake. So I don't think you have anything to be afraid of. Another podcast favorite that I wanted to go over that was looking weak is Cleveland Cliffs. This one, it doesn't have a MACD cross up. Probably will get it today at about 13. My guess is that you'll go up here and start to fill this gap up here between at 15. So I do think that you have an opportunity to get into this one. Now, remember, this is a $7 stock pre-pandemic. It's not crazy expensive. CLF, its PE is at 2. Their earnings per share year over year are down 42%. They were up last year. And the reason they were up last year is just you had the backlog of COVID. So that's why you're seeing this stock go down. I'm not trading this one for a long-term buy and hold. I'm trading this one to make 10, 15, 20%. That's all I'm trying to do. You can trade your options on this one. I like this one. There is a gap down here between $12 and $12.50 and $12.07. That one would worry me a little bit, just because it's a downward trending stock. So in downward trending stocks, gaps down typically attract more than gaps up. So, but I do like Cleveland Cliffs still. Let's look at some of our energy plays since I didn't look at them last week. Viper Energy, VNOM, which I always call Venom Energy. You've got a gap down here, but this is an upward trending stock between 28 and 29. We had our algorithm buy us in at 27. You're at 35 right now, and you're still going, still strong. You're outside the top of the Bollinger Band. No reason to fear. Keep going on that one. Their earnings are coming up November 7th. Is it post-market? I think it's post-market. Yeah, today after the bell. They're going to announce record earnings. They're probably going to up their dividend. This is one that has a crazy dividend. I think it's 15%. No, it's only 9%. So don't let my 15% hype you down. Only 9%. But it's a 9% dividend. You're up 61% this year. Your PE is 24. They're growing. They deserve that PE. And most likely when they announce earnings, the PE is going to go actually down. So the stock will go up because it's going to trade at a higher PE. COP, ConocoPhillips, still in on this trade. October 3rd, $106. You're trading at $134. Crazy. Your earnings have already happened. Your next catalyst is the dividend payment at the end of looks like the end of December. I'd have to look that one up. But COP is still in there. Devon Energy reports, I think it's this week. No, they reported last week. And you gap down. The algorithm has you out of this one. I didn't sell. I think you're pretty much trending. I always say 60 is your pivot point on this one. I still say 60 is your pivot point on this one. I wouldn't necessarily buy in. If you got out, maybe you buy back in. The dividend, the next catalyst is December 9th. And their dividend is super. It's the largest dividend in the S&P. I think it's 9% as well. 6.52. So again, I'm assuming that dividends are way higher than they are. Occidental Petroleum, I own. Their earnings are coming up November 8th, tomorrow. This is one that Buffett owns 20% of. It's up 2% today. You still have strength. This one has a good dividend as well. Nothing too huge, but Occidental's good. XOM, we had Exxon earnings. You had great earnings. You passed their earnings back on October 27th. You still got positive momentum here. Your dividend is November 14th. You're at 52-week highs. And I think it's all-time highs here on XOM. I have a significant chunk of XOM. Chevron CVX. This is Jim Cramer's favorite, so it's bound to fail at some point. Buy in at 148. You're trading at 184. I continue to say that 160 is your pivot point on this one. Don't buy in right now. It's run way too much. FANG, which is Diamondback Resources. This is one with an incredible dividend. Algorithm got you in at 119 on September 30th. Your earnings are coming up. They're coming up after the bell today? Yep, after the bell today. They're going to announce record earnings. I don't expect it to gap down. I don't expect it to sell down. They have a great dividend. There is this gap down here between 121 and 125, which will get filled at some point. So I don't think that you buy in here at 160, but just showing you some of the runs of these. Pioneer Resources, PXD. This one has had a phenomenal run. Those Bollinger Bands are syncing up. The algorithm did get you out on November 30. It hasn't gotten you back in, but this might be one. You've had your earnings. Your next catalyst is the dividend November 29th. And this one does have a pretty decent, 10.22% dividend. I would think as long as energy holds up on this one, I think you're good to go. In fact, I think with that MACD cross up that's going to come, 256, I think if you could get this around the 245 mark, anywhere between 248 and 250, I think you shovel some money into this one. This might be one of the best ones of the energy list that I've got. So let's go over some scans. I mentioned that the chips, Micron, was doing well. We had a cross up here this morning. 56.17 is the cross up. You're trading at 55, so it's below the algorithm price, and the only reason is because going into open, we've kind of cinched down a little bit. We haven't haven't really gotten going. I'm opening Active Trader Pro as we speak so I can look at the markets. But Micron had a cross up. I already talked about NVIDIA. We had a cross up here in the morning. It should put it on. Yep. It should put it on my chart. Oh, it's a secondary cross up. You crossed at 123. You're crossing again. The RSI is way too high, but their earnings are going to be a catalyst. So I figured I'd include it. The other one that I want to include that had a cross up is Union Pacific. And the reason why I want to point this one out, 196.83. You're trading at 197. There's a gap here between 206 and 207, and also a gap closer to the 200-day at 216 to 217. Union Pacific, let's look at some of this. It's we'll go down to the description. It's a shipping company. It's a railroad. Buffett owns a large amount of this. Downgrade, RBC market, sector to underperform, 200 to 187. Their PE is right at the 17 level. Year to date, they're down 21%. They have a 2.64% dividend. You can clearly see up here at 270, they've come down. The reason why I bring this up is I think that this gap up here between 206 and 208 is a good one. I think that's where you're going to look. Union Pacific is one that you could probably just buy and hold. Honestly, that's why I'm bringing it up in this market. It's come down significantly. This is the daily. If we were to look at the weekly, you'd barely, you're going to use this 200-day right here at about 200. That's your pivot point. Look at the last time it broke the 200-day. It was COVID, and you shot up. So this is why I bring this up, because I do think you see here between 2015 and 2016, you went from 119 down to 78. This was where Buffett bought in. And so he's ridden it up. I do think that they'll figure things out. Railroads are pretty much, indestructible currently. Sammy wants me to look at Tops. I'll close out. Tops is one. This is a day trader favorite. It's not going to provide me a ton of info here. And you can see, just look at this. Right here. Tops is where you're going to get, this is a shipping company. This is one of those that's a day trader favorite. Look at the volume. That's where you're going to get the push. Tops is just, it's all hype. So if we go over here and I go to Active Trader Pro, let me pull it up. Active Trader Pro, we'll look at Tops from a today standpoint. And I'll show you, Sammy, how to look at this one. We're going to look at a 5-day. And this is a 5-minute chart. It's got no confirmation whatsoever. So take a look at, if we zoom in and we just look at today's. See how it's below that green line? That green line is 9-day. The yellow line's a 21-day. And the shading is the Bollinger Bands. And this red line is a 200-day. That red line is to tell you the direction of the stock. And over a 5-day, look at it. Is there a reason to think that this one's coming back up? Probably not. You're on the weak side of the Bollinger Bands. The Bollinger Bands are sinking up. Until you get above that 9 or the 21, there's no reason to trade this. You can gamble all you want. I'm not about gambling. I'd rather just wait. I'd rather put my money into a company that even if I lose 5, 10, 15, 20% in it, at some point it's going to come back. I don't worry about the 5-minute stuff. If you really want to trade something quickly, the ones that I like, Boyle is one that I've been on this podcast spouting about. It's up over 50 right now. I wouldn't trade it today. I'd probably wait until this one. But I've been spouting on this one that anything under 40, you buy this one. The other one that I love to day trade is TQQQ. I think 20 is your pivot point on that one. And Jackson brings up a good one. UVIXI. The VIX right now is at 25. UVIXI, as we get into periods of extreme volatility. The VIX wants to be at 30 in extreme volatile markets. I don't know that we're necessarily looking at an extreme volatile market, but UVIXI under 10 at 946. I just seem to think that at some point in time, it's up. The VIX is up 3.22%, and UVIXI just hasn't moved. Remember we looked at it on podcast. I don't know if it was a podcast or YouTube Live. We looked at how UVIXI is traded. It's traded against the futures. So it doesn't track the VIX directly. It trades on the futures. So UVIXI actually has no value whatsoever. This is not a stock that you buy and hold on to and say, hey, the capital is going to appreciate. They're really putting their money to work. No, it's traded on the futures of the VIX. So to me, with this one down slightly, with this one kind of trading under 10, not really moving. You look at Friday. This is Friday's move. It went from 910 all the way up to 975. Big move. You had a 10% move in the day. It's just settling back in. I see it on the upside of the 9-day and the 21-day, and with the VIX at 25, up 3%. I think you're going to move a little bit. I think anything under 10 on this one, I think you're good. I think it wants to go back to 10. So another one that, by the way, I'll tell you, let's go back to Active Trader Pro, TrendSpider. Tesla. So some people hate Elon Musk. Here, I'll tell you a little story. So when I joined Earthlink, it was right after the founder, Gary Betty, the original CEO. He died like 2 weeks after I accepted the job offer. So I decided, hey, am I going to stay? And there was an interim CEO, Mike Lunsford, who was the CFO. And it was fairly clear to me at looking at Earthlink that they were a drowning ship and they needed to turn things around. So they were trying out different businesses, different tactics and blah, blah, blah. And I came in at an extremely volatile time. So once the board decided that Lunsford was not the CEO, they went out on a CEO search. I started in January. The CEO search started in February, I believe. And what happened was Rala came in June. And Rala said, yeah, we need to upheaval this business. This is my view of the business, blah, blah, blah. Same thing that Elon Musk is doing with Twitter right now. They're a drowning ship. They're losing money. So Elon's like, listen, I just paid billions of dollars. I overpaid for this asset. I want to get my money out. And I'm going to come in and I'm going to make things lean and I'm going to change things up. He's running it the way he wants to run it. It's a private business. He can do it. Anybody who's saying, well, these people were treated unfairly, they're treated like employees. I mean, you can hate it, but that's what you are to a company. You're an employee. Some companies value employees more than others. It's as simple as that. When I joined Earthlink, I didn't think that I was going to be, it was a lifelong assignment. I was there to do a job, and I did it as well as I could for as long as I could. I started in January. By September, half the company was let go. So I just, Elon, in my mind, is he doing something wrong by letting these people go? Absolutely not. I think that's the only thing that he could have done. It's not like they've had a genius in Twitter that says, hey, here's a new product, for Twitter that we can do. Look at Twitter. When Jack was running it, they did, Vine. Well, what did Vine turn into? Vine went bankrupt, didn't make a thing. And then all of a sudden TikTok comes around. TikTok's the same thing as Vine. Why couldn't Twitter make it work? Oh, employees. That's right. They couldn't learn how to monetize it. Yeah. Again, I don't think Elon's doing anything wrong. He's giving them, I think he gave them 90 days of severance. Shit. In my mind, I think you're doing something right there. Now, you may not like his views on reinstating some people, on shutting other people down, on bolstering some voices. He's obviously found some things in there that were troubling to him. He's made it semi-public. I think he's hiding some stuff for protection purposes. I don't think there's some evil mastermind in him. I don't think he's that well thought out. I think he's more of a hype man. But what you have to worry from a trading standpoint is he no longer has Twitter on the market. The one public company that he does have is Tesla. And this is where he got all of his money to buy Twitter. And when I said, hey, I think Tesla could go down to the 138 mark, I wasn't joking. I think 200's your pivot point on this one. I still hold my my shares that are from way back when. I think it was August 2020. Shit, I bought shares in like 2018 and I got out. But if we are to look at this, I think it's a weekly chart is where I saw it. And I had it annotated, but I think I took it out. But let's go back to a daily. If we go back to a daily, there's some gaps up. There are some gaps up, but you're dealing with a downward trending stock now on that 200-day. So the gaps up are a little less than the gaps down. And you've got this gap down here between 139 and 143. In my mind, I think that's where you're going. You're trading at 203 right now. I've said even with some of the upturn that we've seen, if you want to do shorter term trading, be perfectly fine with it. But I think longer term, as we get out here, I think that's where you're going. Now, if you want to buy and hold for the next 5 years, I don't think 200 is a bad pivot point on that one. Below 200, load up. Above 200, load up smaller sizes. But I do think that we're going to dip below 200, and I think this gap here between 136 and 143, I think that's a gap that does get a little interesting. And here, let's bring this. And what I'm going to do is bring this back to the beginning where this gap was. This is a volume shelf indicator on TrendSpider. And so where are people holding? You can see clearly, look at where the majority of people are holding. These are not people that are sitting here and buying and holding. The majority of people who are actually buying, who have held Tesla all the way since November 27th, 2020. So you're almost 2 years. The number of people who are buying from November 2020 are not holding at that price. They are buying and selling. The biggest volume right now is between 220 and 221. Now, if we go back here and we go to a weekly, and I were to pull this volume shelf back, where's my volume shelf? There it is. I'm not going to pull it back that far. But the 2019 kind of start to the spike. Clearly, you can see there's a volume shelf here at 61. I don't think that you're going back to that. You're sitting here at 110. I don't think that you're going back here. But remember that gap that I told you between 127 and 136? Look at this. If we lose this support under 200 and we close under 200, I think that 160 to 148 kind of volume shelf right here provides you with the level of support that Tesla is going to need. That's why I'm a little bit nervous. And trust me, on charts, you can talk yourself out of any trade. So I'm not adding it back in my 50%, but I do. That's why I'm sitting on the sidelines on Tesla. I haven't shut down my Twitter account. I don't necessarily see anything wrong with what's going on Twitter. I think that some people might see something different and not like it. It's totally your opinion. I don't want to say that it's not happening because I do think that there are some changes that are happening. And if you don't like it, you don't have to use Twitter. Shit, I got Instagram. I'm not on TikTok, and part of the reason I'm not on TikTok, I don't trust the Chinese. I just don't. You guys know I don't trade China stocks. I hold a shit ton of BABA at about 50% of what I paid for it. So let's talk about the real estate market before I end the podcast, and then I'll hang out on YouTube. But DRN and DRV, which one's trading better? Well, with DRN, you've got this gap up here between 16 and 1650. Today, you're trading at 945. Do I believe that the home builders are going to go into a bull market? And this is 3-time levered ETF. This is DRN. I don't know. Home builders are continuing to build. Costs are coming down. Margins are starting to increase. But with the increase in interest rates, you're having some problems selling homes. So that's where, right now, DRN has you a buy-in at $8.09. Brilliant move because you're at $9.45 right now. DRV, on the other hand, you're out. DRV, you're actually in. 65.14. It's down at 62.80. So you are out. You are in on that one. I probably would. I'd be careful on this one. I would have a stop somewhere around $60, I think, if you did buy into this one. And the reason I say that is because of this gap down here. I think that gap down there with a stock that you just got out of a 38% gain, which you could have had 50, 60% on if you paid attention to the button hook. On this one, if you guys remember, around September 29th, I said, there's the button hook, get out. And then somebody on Twitter said, buy's up 50% today. Oh, okay. So I made a mistake and the algorithm didn't get you out. I thought it was going to get you out, but you continued on from 62 up to about 84, 85. The high was 84.94. So it just got you back in at 65.20. I don't know. Not super strong on it. But if you do think that the housing market is going to be hurt, then I'd stay on it. Right now, markets have kind of pulled back. We were up significantly. On the Dow, we were up 200 points or so. You're only up 117. NASDAQ is up 8.08%, so it's not huge. The big movers in my portfolio, VRTS is up. Meta is still up 5%. I still think that hundreds where you're going on that one. Microsoft's 1%, but God, it's been beaten down so much. Who cares about 1%? Palantir, which announced earnings this morning, is down almost 10%. That's it's a dud. I think I got $5,000 into that, which I'm down 50% on, probably 60, maybe 70% on it. PayPal's up about 2%. Ruth Chris is down about 10%. That's been one. I think I have $1,000 into it, not much. Square is up 6%. Viatris is up 14%. This is the spinoff from Pfizer. So you've got some stuff out there that's moving. I'll be back on tomorrow. Thank you guys for hanging with me through the week last week. If you're still listening, remember I'm on YouTube Live. Watch the charts. I started about 20 minutes late, so we're at about an hour. So anytime if you wanted to see the charts, you just look at the timestamp on it, add 20 minutes, go to the YouTube channel. You'll be able to see it. Okay, guys. Take care. Bye. Share, export song to disk. Okay. Hopefully I went over everything for you guys. Oh, we have 7 people watching. People got bored, I think. Oh, boy. Boy, Pinduoduo is up 4%. What the hell is going on with that China stock? Walgreen Boots, I should have bought into that one this morning. Netflix is down at 250 again. Tesla's down 202. Boy, I could have probably stopped that podcast at about 20 minutes. Anybody buy into Boyle? I'm kicking myself. Kicking myself for working last week, actually. Oh, podcast. I got to post the podcast, too. Yeah, I'm probably gonna get my day started. Oh. Thumbs up, like, and subscribe. Boy, if you guys got in on energy, man, you're making bank like I am. Bank of America's at 37. Remember when it was 31? Snaps at 9. Forge at 13. Baba's at 70. American Eagle out. Can you look at Antero Resources? Yeah, I'll look at it, Sammy. But Sammy, man, you scare me when you say tops and then Antero Resources. Let me see. What's Antero Resources? I'm sure this is a AR. Is this a day trader one? It's not as bad as tops. Here's the algo on Antero. So Antero had a buy-in at 35.32 right after their earnings. Their earnings looked like it was, let me see, surprise. They were down 15% on earnings. So it wasn't a great earnings report, but probably because it's energy. But you had this buy-in at 35.32, and then you're gapping up today. Let's see why. Your PE's only 5. You have no dividend. You're up 112%. Jefferies initiated coverage. Price target at 47. So you still got a huge move until you hit there. There is no news on this one, why it gapped up. But it gapped up. Here's what I'm going to do. Look at this. Can you guys see? I don't know if you can see this. No, I guess you can't see that on the side. I'm looking at the insider buying on this one. Let's look at AR. It's got some. I think all of Energy's got just a pop today. Let me go to Inside Active Trader Pro. There's your AR. Your 10-day volume is 7.5 million. Your 90-day is 7.5 million. P ratio is 5.84. We knew that one. Short 7.8. So it's not in a short squeeze. But it looks like you close at about 37 and you're up near 40. See how it's got the... Remember how... Sammy, remember when I was looking at tops, I said there's no reason this one's doing anything but going down. See how AR, the 200 days going up, these Bollinger Bands are going up. You were trading outside these Bollinger Bands. It had to come back in. It came back in. It touched this 21-day as its support level. So I would think that would be a support level right there. It's going up over 40. Its 52-week high is 48, which was hit in June. So I would think that would be where your top side is, which is where that analyst said, hey, that's the analyst look at it. Okay, let me go to Anchor, and I'll post this podcast. Who else has questions? New episode, create episode. This was a long one. Why did I do that long of a podcast? I want a happy transition. Search by transition title to set the tone. Happy. It doesn't let me look at happy. Pedal rider. That sounds like a happy one. You're welcome, Sammy. Anytime. I like that. Yeah, I've done Peacoat before. We'll do pedal rider. Let me see. I don't have any ad offers. I am eligible to start subscriptions. Boo, boo, boo. I should start subscriptions. Man, I did an hour. Microsoft president, they're in Egypt. What the hell is Microsoft doing in Egypt right now at a conference? You know, it is funny watching all these conferences, man. Nobody wears, and I was on the plane, I'd say, of all the people on the plane, maybe 15 had masks. And you should be wearing a mask. Oh, Jackson, LAFC won the cup. It was a great freaking game. Here, you know what? Let me see. LA. The LAFC. Oh. The LAFC guy. He's going to miss the World Cup. Oh, that poor guy. I don't want to watch the video again, but there is video of it. Okay, that's behind a paywall. I know I have the video somewhere. Let me find the video. Bum, bum, bum. I think it was to Travis. There it is. Yeah. I'll post this in the chat right now. Docs. There's the chat doc. There's a video where you guys can watch the guy breaking his leg. It is warning. It is absolutely disgusting. He essentially goes out, stops the Philly guy, and then you don't see anything, but the camera kind of zooms in, and he lifts his leg, and the bottom part of his leg is just dangling in between like the shin. So be forewarned, it is absolutely disgusting. I will include it in the episode description as well. Save episode. And we're going to pony this one up. I think I have to clear out my library as well on. Okay, here's what we'll do. Because my system's funky again. What am I going to call this one? Boyle finally hits jackpot. Market update 11/7/22. Oh, come on. 7/22. What is going on? And episodes. Oh, did I have... Oh, I didn't have my... By the way, nobody listened to my special episode. It was boring as fuck, I thought. And I'm going to put this down at the bottom. going to take our notes and put it up here. Okay. Sorry. I'm back, and so is Boyle. Owner's box story. Flight story. Talk about how earnings coming down will actually raise the PE, and that means stock price has to come down to near 17 for S&P. Okay. Apple. Oh, you know what I'm gonna do? Video of the goalie leg break. Gruesome. Oh, no. Okay, I need to copy that again. Where's my copy? Paste. And we're going to make that link. Flight story. Talk about our earnings coming down will actually raise the PE. Apple, Uber, TQQQ under. I don't need that Boyle in there because I've got it in the top. Nvidia, Meta, Kramer and the Phillies. Chips crossing up, SOXL, VOC, CRK, Snow, CLF. We're going to talk about all of these. Energy, Viper. Oh, come on. CVX, FANG, PXD, MU, NVIDIA, UNP, and Tesla. I have to put Tesla. I have to put it in before the scans. We're going to talk energy. We're going to bold that. Let's put in a bold of directional ETFs. You're welcome, Jackson. So here's what it was. It was funny because we were up in the owner's box, and I was in the Phillies owner box. That's the LA goalie. So absolutely 100%. Had he not gone out and had he not slid like that, the Philadelphia player would have actually absolutely scored. 100%, no doubt in my mind. That's why the goalie got a red card. The actual goalie broke his leg and got a red card. It was interesting. But okay, let me pull this up. And I gotta go run today too. I didn't have ice cream while I was in freaking LA. I usually have ice cream. And we're gonna post this. No, I don't want to turn on notifications. Man, Elon is trying his best to get me. We're going to cut that out. I'm going to include tops in the description here because I think I'm going to Sammy is tied in with those GameStop folks. I love the stock. If you have not watched on Netflix, the documentary on GameStop, you are missing such a fantastically produced stock video. It is unbelievable. I love it. I think you guys will too. Okay, and then we're going to, I've got 10 more. So we're going to put in tops. What else did Sam have me look at? AR. Let me look on Active Trader Pro. What's trading at the top? SOXL. Oh, I think I have that in here already. Yep, I've got that. That's at the top. Palantir. Oh, I'm already out with the AR. Perfect. Tweet. Okay. Okay, mofos. Shopify's trending. Why is Shopify trending? Unusual Whales is posting something about the market 28 seconds ago. Let me see. What? Recession narrative changes again with David Rosenberg. Where does this lead me to? Oh, he's got his own freaking Buzzsprout. What is Buzzsprout? Let me see. Buzzsprout. Free podcast hosting. Start podcasting today. Powerful reporting, podcast directories, publishing made easy. With our free podcasting guides, video tutorials, podcasting courses. Hey, you know what? I might as well go back to Safari View so you guys can see what I'm looking at. How to start a podcast. To Buzzsprout. I don't know. Why would I switch from Anchor to Buzzsprout? Everything you need to create. They don't do. Holy fuck. 3,500 people last week started a podcast just with Buzzsprout. Let me see. Buzzsprout ads. Oh. Buy an audience, not a show. At 2 cents per download. Oh, they're trying to get me to buy ads. I want to know how to freaking get you guys to listen to ads, which gets me paid. That's what I want. Because Anchor's owned by Spotify. Let me see, creator program. Creator coach. Huh. You guys want to know how to become a podcast host? Huh. I got lucky. I think somebody boosted. I think you guys listened because somebody boosted my my podcast at some point. I don't know who, but it was pretty, and you guys maybe not. you guys that are on YouTube Live, but it was pretty fast growth from January of this year to March. And then it kind of hit a wall. By the way, how cool is that photo? I love that thing, man. I love that app. I think it's called newprofilepic.com. Of course, you got to have the white hair like me. I was walking through security yesterday, and the guy in the security line's like, dude, I love your hair. I'm like, whoa. There's Caitlin. I wonder if Elon Musk has tortuous interference claims about the left activist groups which are causing. Twitter rules will evolve over time, but they're currently the following. By the way, I don't mind Elon owning Twitter. Dude's got enough money, he can own it. If you don't follow Greg, follow Greg. There's a lot of people who do. Hilarious. Wait. Once you try these hacks, those are plain hacks. If you guys don't know, the biggest hack that I have is the bright orange handle. Oh, look at this. So this is part of the reason why the left is worried about, and I agree, Elon they should be adding context to this. Biden's, right now the most common price at gas stations across the country is $3.19 per gallon. That's progress. Biden is referring to the most common gas price as opposed to the average gas price of $3.80. The most common is the mode gas price. Neither are wrong, and politicians tend to reference the one that is lower. The mode diminishes high gas states from the equation. That is tremendously helpful when you're looking, because yes, is this note helpful? Yes. Easy to understand. Submit and agree. So of the 8, 7, 8, keeps going up and down. Of you guys watching right now, who's paying $3.19 a gallon? I don't even know what the price of gas is. I drive an electric car. I have no freaking clue what it is. But I know there ain't nobody who pays $3.19 right now. Yes, I agree with Stephen King. I don't agree with as long as you vote blue. I do think that you should think about your vote. But get out there and vote. If any of you don't vote, don't listen to me. Because I don't care who you vote for. I really, really don't. There's good and there's bad on both sides. Don't vote for somebody who says that the election's a lie, because then you're spitting in my friend Rick's face. Because the election was not a lie. It was absolutely true. So if you believe that the election is a lie, please do some research. Please, it was not stolen. There wasn't anything fake. There wasn't anything wrong with it. And if you're voting for those people, stop listening to my podcast. Ted Cruz said that folks who were receiving student debt relief are a bunch of slackers. Who in God's name do these guys think they are? Ted Cruz is a slacker. Ted Cruz is a moron. Ted Cruz, when the energy crisis hit, rather than stay with his people who he represents, he took off to Mexico. That guy will never get an ounce of respect from me. Nothing. Here's Homar's blog. This is self-driving in San Francisco. There's the Golden Gate Bridge. This is a Tesla driving itself on full self-driving. He posts them all the time. I am not this bold in my Tesla. There ain't no freaking way I'm sitting there like this and trusting that fucking car with bicyclists and stuff around. This guy's more ballsy than I am. Yeah, Tesla may trade its own way again today. It's been very volatile lately, and it's become this guy Squawk Square, multi-millionaire who made his money on Tesla, trading Tesla stock. What he does is he does trade it every day. He trades the options, and he trades a good amount of options to make money and donates a lot of it to charity. Politically, don't agree with him whatsoever. But, that's what debate is for. I like with people that I don't necessarily agree with. Meta, send it. A sloth. Look at this sloth. See? That's what the world's about, man. Being happy like that. Look at him. He's learning. He's enjoying life. Look at how happy he is. By the way, if you have Carvana, sell it because Jim Cramer is bullish on it. See, look at Greg's response. He's fantastic. Oh, by the way, yeah, this is TrendSpotting. I got to do those new descending triangle things. I got to look at their videos how to do it. I'm going to retweet this so that I remember to read it. Me all day, me at 3 a.m. looking at clothes. Yeah. That's a promotion. KLD 1420, nice. Let's go back. Let's look at, I want to look at Boyle. See AR, remember I said at 39 something? It had all the confirmation there. Still got confirmation on AR. It trades 7 million shares a day, so it's not small by any means. You'll be able to get in and out. Let's look at Boyle. Is Boyle still over 50? 51. And it's got confirmation. We're looking at a 5-minute chart. Let's look at a quicker mover. We'll look at a 1-minute chart to see if it still has the confirmation. And it looks like it does. Yeah. Touch the bottom part here at about 50. 50 is your price floor for today. You'll be able to get it at 50. I think you will. The VIX is up at 25.06. But the futures are still... New VIXI is still just... Wow. Yeah, it's up. 952. When I was doing the podcast, it was down here at 940. See, it went for a little run. Here. We will look at a 5-day. Here, you want to see something fun on you, VIXI? Let me show you. Here's your VIXI. And here's the algorithm on your VIXI. And see how it's just down here. It's starting to cross up. Under 10. You're kind of sitting, covering this gap. See, on the way down. Between 944 and 974. You're still in a downward trend. So this downward gap is definitely stronger than the upward gap. The upward gap is at 12. I think you'll hit 12. When this thing turns around, I think you're moving back either to 11 at that 200 day, and you're going to use it as, because look, it doesn't use the 200 as complete resistance each time. But look, goes over, goes back under, goes over, goes back under, goes over, goes back under, goes over, goes back under. It's quick moving. Now, your VIXI, your average win is only 4.37%. You're losing 90% on the algorithm. You're losing 92% by buying and holding. But I like you, Vixie. I think you can make this one work. By the way, Square up 4%. I'm probably down today. DraftKings is down 2%. Let's look at DraftKings. Let's look at Devon Energy. It's kind of fluttering. Devon had that big downturn. It had that button hook, and it got you out, and that button hook hasn't gotten you back in, but it will. Look at the volume. Right after the earnings, look at that volume spike. Oh, that's why I wanted to see with you, Vixie. I wanted to see the volume. That's why I was going over there. I think you're going to hit 100 on Meta in this week. So if you want to make a quick 5%, if you want to trade options, go and trade options. I think you'll hit 100. I think Friday you could buy $100 options, and I think you'd hit it. I don't know how to trade options. I need to do that schooling. Look at the volume on you, Vixie. See how here it just took off April, and then here you had a 3% win there, and now you're back down here. You're back in this realm where it's just kind of continuing to go down. At some point it'll spike, and you'll see people start buying it. DraftKings has been on a crazy good run prior to earnings, and boom, 15% loss. You had this entire run from $13.50, then you had earnings, and boom, should have sold out of it. But you'll get back up to 15 on DraftKings at some point. Okay, I am out of here. It's 10:42. You guys have a great day. I will